Welcome back to 1 equals 1. I am your host, Vanessa. Today, we're diving into a country that is constantly in the headlines, but remains a bit of a mystery to many: Iran. If you look at a map of world governments, Iran is a unique outlier. It isn't a secular democracy like the US or France, but it also isn't a traditional monarchy like Saudi Arabia. As of March 2026, Iran is navigating a massive turning point. We're going to peel back the layers of its dualistic architecture, a system that tries to blend an ancient religious law with modern-day voting. By the end of this episode, you'll understand exactly how power flows in Tehran and why the system is facing its biggest challenge since it began. To understand Iran today, we have to look at 1979. Before that, Iran was a monarchy ruled by the Shah. The Shah wanted a westernized, secular, and industrial Iran. He had big dreams, but he ruled with an iron fist, and many felt he was a puppet of Western interests, especially after a CIA-backed coup in 1953. By the late 70s, a perfect storm hit. Economic inequality, anger over corruption, and a sense that Iranian culture was being erased. A diverse group of protesters, from Marxists to liberal students to religious fanatics, united under a charismatic religious leader in exile, Ayatollah Khomeini. When the Shah fled in January 1979, Khomeini returned and led a revolution that changed everything. They didn't just want a new leader, they wanted a whole new kind of state. They established the Islamic Republic, replacing a secular king with a system based on Sharia law, Islamic jurisprudence. This brings us to the engine of the Iranian system, a concept called the guardianship of the Islamic jurist. The idea is that while humans can vote, God is the ultimate lawgiver. Therefore, the country needs a top-tier religious scholar to oversee everything and make sure the state doesn't stray from Islamic principles. This person is the supreme leader. Now, let me be very explicit. This is not a ceremonial role. The supreme leader is an unelected, lifetime official who holds nearly unlimited authority. He is the head of state and the most powerful political and religious figure in the country. Think of him as the ultimate referee, who also owns the stadium and can change the rules mid-game. He is the commander-in-chief of the entire military. He appoints the head of the judiciary, he controls the state media, and he directs all foreign policy. He even has the power to issue governmental commandments that can temporarily override Sharia law itself in emergencies. While there is a president and a parliament, they are strictly subordinate to him. In the Iranian system, the buck doesn't just stop with the supreme leader, the buck starts and ends with him. Now, let's talk about how this absolute rule feels on the ground. Iran's penal code is based on Sharia, and it breaks crimes and punishments into 4 very specific categories. Hudud. These are claims against God with mandatory fixed punishments prescribed by the Quran or Sunnah. This includes amputation for theft, stoning for adultery, or the death penalty for apostasy and sodomy. Qisas. This is the law of retribution in kind for intentional murder or injury. For example, the victim's family holds the right to demand execution, accept blood money, or grant forgiveness. Diyat. This is compensation paid to the victim or their family in cases of unintentional injury or when qisas is not demanded. Tazir. These are discretionary punishments for offences where Sharia doesn't specify a fixed sentence, often used for modern crimes or to punish political dissent. Beyond these, there is morality enforcement. The Guidance Patrol enforces Islamic dress codes and chaste behaviour. Failing to comply can lead to fines, morality classes, flogging, or imprisonment. Individual rights in Iran are severely curtailed because they are always subordinate to Islamic criteria. Freedom of speech. You can be jailed for propaganda against the regime or insulting the supreme leader. Women's rights. Women are often treated as second-class citizens in marriage, divorce, and travel, requiring a husband's permission to even get a passport. High-tech control. The regime now uses a digital wall, including Russian-made Find Face software and biometric identity cards, to track women who defy the hijab law and to monitor protesters in real time. How does the money work? Experts call it a military bonyad complex. The bonyads, these are massive, tax-free religious foundations controlled by the supreme leader that own huge sectors of the economy. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard, originally just a military force, they now control oil, gas, and telecommunications. This concentration of power in unelected hands has led to systemic corruption, with over half the population living below the poverty line as of recent years. Finally, let's talk about why March 2026 is so critical. On February 28, 2026, Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was assassinated. In a move that shocked the world, his son, Mujtaba Khamenei, was elected the third Supreme Leader by the Assembly of Experts just days later. This is what we call a transition to dynastic rule. Here is the profound irony. The 1979 revolution was explicitly fought to end a monarchy where power was passed from father to son. By putting Mujtaba in power, the system has effectively become a new kind of hereditary autocracy, a clerical monarchy. Mujtaba is a mid-ranking cleric who lacks the traditional religious credentials usually required for the role, but he has deep ties to the IRGC. His rise marks a shift from a populist theocracy toward a dynastic military state. Public dissatisfaction is explosive, with slogans explicitly demanding an end to clerical rule. Whether this new dynasty can survive the internal unrest and the ongoing war is the big question for the rest of 2026. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you now have a clearer map of the Iranian maze. Do like, share and subscribe.